everybody.
Assalamu alaikum. Hope you all are doing well. So today's video is a much demanded request that we have been receiving since we did Aloo Chana, which was part 1 of Halwa Puri. So today is the Puri bit, and that's what everyone has been requesting. So we'll show you how we make puris to go perfectly with your Aloo Chana. Halwa though is still part 3. I must share that. So let's see how puris are done today. So at least you can have puris with what you already know, that's Aloo Chana. So let's get started.
For today's puri recipe, I will be using about 100 grams of self-raising flour, 1 tablespoon of full-fat yogurt, a pinch of salt, and I'll be using a little drizzling of olive oil, but you could also use sunflower or vegetable oil is also fine. This is just for a few puris to show you today, so if you need to make more, just adjust the measurements to how many you need. So let's begin making the dough. So all you need is just a bowl, and we're basically just going to put all the ingredients in and wait for it to become a nice dough. So in goes the flour first. I'm not worrying about sieving it or anything like that. And then I've got the yogurt, the full fat yogurt. That's going in as well. Like I said, just a couple of pinches of salt, just to give it a bit of flavour. And a little drizzling of what I'm using is olive oil. You can use sunflower or vegetable oil, but just a little bit. So with my hands, I'm just going to mix these ingredients together. And basically what you're looking for is for it all to come together nicely. So if you need a little bit more yogurt or you need a little bit more flour, that's absolutely fine. Just adjust it to however much you're using. And it should just nicely come together, leaving the bowl nice and clear. So this is just going to take a few minutes to keep blending this together.
So while Faye is doing the dough, I'll show you how to make Turkish coffee today. So this is it's a copper pot that's used to make Turkish coffee. So the way to go about it is, I've just filled it this much, 1/4 with water, and I have some Turkish coffee here, which is not the regular coffee that you must have at home. Turkish coffee is different, so you have to buy Turkish coffee for it. So for 2 cups of coffee, I'll be using 2 teaspoons of this coffee, and I'll add that to this pot. And we have been making this coffee during last Ramazan, and we really enjoyed it. So we used to open our fast with a date, and the first thing I remember we would have after that would be coffee. Yeah?
Followed by ruafza.
Yeah. I think it was followed by ruafza and then fruit chaat.
Oh, no.
Again with dates.
Yeah.
And what else did we use to? We used to make papri chaat with pulki and everything, and that was very nice.
When you're thirsty,
I'll show you how to make papri chaat at home as well.
When you're thirsty, these are the kind of things you just dream about all day, isn't it?
What else did we used to?
This was breaking fast, I feel like.
I remember this much because, so I have added 2 teaspoons to this much water. I'm just going to give it a nice stir before topping it up with water. I'll top it up full water to make 2 cups of this coffee, but before I do that, I'll just give it a good mix. So I remember this much because I remember I used to open my fast with a date, have this coffee, and would just go for praying for a long time. So
leave me in the kitchen getting hungry.
After that, I think we would have papdi chaat and regular food, whatever
Yeah,
we've
we've
made
that
for
day.
the day,
Yeah.
and would use the same for sehri as well. So that iftari sehri, and it was lockdown, so we were home most of the time,
Yeah.
unless we had to get some food.
It was good because we just spent the whole day preparing for a nice meal in the evening, rather than.
So it's just a quick stir. You don't have to, just to make sure that there are no granules in there. So fill it up with water, and it will go on heat after that.
I'll just share how I'm getting on. So it's been about maybe 10 minutes to get to this stage where it's all bounded together. I have added just another half a tablespoon of yogurt, just because I found that my dough was a little dry. But it's now come together and the bowl is completely empty. So it's all in my hand, all nicely. It's quite smooth in texture. So I'm just kind of keep binding it together. And I'm going to then let it rest for a while, probably about half an hour. But you can just use slightly more flour. I've got my flour here because
Let me use some of my mussels as well if you just leave it here.
So I will be needing a little bit of flour just to be able to coat the bottom of the surface, my rolling pin. So I've got the flour ready. And as I said, I've used a little bit more yogurt. So just adjust it to however yours is developing. But it's feels nice and smooth, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's bound all right. Good. Coffee is already smelling good. I want mine with sugar. A little bit of sugar. Do you have yours with sugar? I don't think you do.
No.
Just a bit. So just cover it also with like a tea towel, a clean tea towel.
We've just made enough for 2-3 puris, just to show you how it's made. We made it earlier and we already had our lunch with these puris.
I will also say at this point that we are going to be sort of deep frying, so you are going to need a lot of vegetable or sunflower oil. This is absolutely fine to use leftover oil that you have. I always do that because we often need a lot of oil for deep frying samosas and other snacks we like to have. So that's absolutely fine, so I'll be doing that today. But for now I think I'll wait for my coffee, huh?
Yeah.
So that's going on the side.
So traditionally in Turkey, this coffee is prepared on sand. So these are special stations flat stations with sand on it, which is very hot. So they place this copper pot on that sand, which is very hot, and make it bubble. The first bubble that you see forming on the top gives you an idea that this coffee is ready to be served. During the process, however, what I personally like doing is taking the froth off the top and putting it in the serving cup. What that does is, by the time I would pour Turkish coffee over, it will leave a very frothy layer on top, which is very nice because we don't add any milk or anything to it. It's a very, very nice tasting coffee on its own. So personally it's my favorite, both Turkish tea and Turkish coffee. So do try it and see how you like it.
For me, I'm not a massive coffee lover. If I had to have a coffee, I'd be the one that orders the sweet cappuccino or the latte, with loads of cream, milk, sugar. But apart from a little bit of sugar at the bottom of this, I love the taste of this coffee. I'm not someone who normally has coffee on its own, but it's slightly nutty, or there's something about this.
I really like
flavour is really nice.
The aroma in the air which this coffee has. It's a very nice smelling coffee, not only nice tasting, but it just creates that aroma in the air that when you go past a nice coffee shop and you can smell very nice coffee. So it's similar, but I think it's even nicer. So I have turned it down to very low because that's the temperature you should have this coffee ready at. So to gather froth, I just give a little stir in the copper pot. As a result, I'll get some froth on top, and I'll just take that and put it in the cup. So this coffee is served in these cups. We have the traditional ones as well, actually. Do you know where they are? I think
I'll get them.
Yeah, if you get them, let's. I'll have coffee in this one. I'll prepare for you in the other one.
It's well wrapped up.
So the trick is after you have taken the froth off, transfer it to the cups, when you see the first bubble sort of pop on top, that means it is ready. You don't have to boil it. So you see the first bubbles formed, and the moment that happened, I just took it off the heat. So I'll switch off the heat and just leave it on the side. I'll show you how to transfer it to the cup as well. You have to keep it very low when you transfer it so that it's nice and creamy, and the froth which you have separated stays on top as well. Okay, so these are the cups. They're made of copper, the outer shell, and inside is ceramic. They're very beautiful. They are the authentic cups in which this coffee is served. I'll make coffee for Faye in this cup for her to enjoy.
Aww, thank you.
So let's take the froth first.
You've got baklava as well.
Yeah, we can have some with this. Okay, so the way to transfer it in a cup is to keep it very low, literally the level of the cup, and just gently transfer this coffee.
That looks so nice.
Yeah, it smells so nice as well. So, here is Turkish coffee. Would you like some baklava with it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go baklava without and not have sugar in my coffee. There's too much to eat. That looks so cute.
Let me prepare mine. I'll get you baklava after that.
I'll have to remember that this thing comes out though and not tip it down.
So this smaller size pot is designed for 2 cups of Turkish coffee. We have a bigger one as well, which makes 4, and together they can make 6.
Good math.
Okay,
Nice.
enjoy.
Can I have this little one?
Yeah.
This little round one? Is that the one
This
you
one
wanted?
is the best one. I've already eaten rest of these, so this is the only one left. Try this.
Okay,
This is
okay.
nicer. I never add sugar to my to this coffee. I think it tastes very nice, and you get its strength, its smell, and I don't think it needs sugar. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So instead have baklava and have this coffee.
Is it hot?
It is, yeah.
Cheers.
You nearly broke my cup.
Such a strong woman with all that kneading of bread. Oh yeah.
Yeah? Nice.
After a bite of sweet.
I'll have some baklava as well. And it's always nice to, once you've made this coffee, leave it for few minutes for the granules to settle to the base. So it's not dissolving coffee, it gives flavor, and then the granules, they settle to the base. So you don't drink it to the last drop, because the granules are at the bottom. So it's nice, once you've prepared it, leave it on the side for a couple of minutes before you actually have it. That's what we used to do in Ramzan. 2 minutes before the iftari time, this would be ready on the table, and it would sit there for 2-3 minutes. So we'll have it second thing after date, I think.
Yeah. Date and coffee is like a match for me. You got that sweet fruit, and then the coffee. That is equally as good as baklava. This was my first Ramadan. I fasted the whole month.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to last a day or two. But actually, once you get in the flow of it, it kind of becomes easier, doesn't it? Like as time goes on. Yeah, it's lovely.
Let's start heating the oil, because the oil we need to fry these puris, they should be deep fried, and the oil should be at a good heating temperature. You can switch it, you can turn it down once the oil becomes hot, but the puris should go in a hot oil. So let's start.
It's a sad moment when your coffee is over.
You can do it
on this one?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
It's all over too quickly.
You're done with yours.
I know.
It's nice.
Really nice. I might just prepare my board with flour. So scatter it across. Don't forget some on your rolling pin.
So it's a self-raising flour which we have used. No atta, no plain flour, just get some self-raising flour and make a dough with yogurt. You just have to mix some yogurt if you need more. Like you add water, you add yogurt to this. No water, just keep adding yogurt, slight yogurt at a time, just to make a dough. So it's as simple as pinch of salt, any oil, whether olive oil or vegetable oil, just a 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon is all right.
So it's been half an hour. I think we're ready to begin. So the dough is been resting. I'm just going to give it a little squeeze, but it feels fine. I'm just going to take enough for one, so maybe like a small handful. And we are going to roll this into a ball. Then we're going to roll it out into a nice round puri, hopefully. Puri dough. Okay. So into a ball. Think similar, and then you want to just press it down a little bit, just to kind of give it a head start. And then I'm just going to coat both sides in flour and begin to roll it out. We want this dough to be nice and thin, so make sure you take sort of small pieces, enough to fit your pan that you're using to fry them in. To make a nice round circle, it's good to keep rotating the dough. I find that helps. And plenty of flour is the way to go to make sure it doesn't stick. So the dough is nice and thin. I've got it into a rough circle as well. So I'm just going to get any excess flour, and then Amir's going to now fry this for me.
Okay, it has to be deep fried, but very quick deep fry. It's literally 5 to 10 seconds on each side. If you don't take it off heat, it will get burnt. So you have to be very quick. And before I started, I have everything ready to flip it, to take it off heat, and yeah, and it's very important how you place it in oil. So it has to be a confident, quick technique where you don't splash any water. So that's pretty much it on one side. See how it gets fluffy within no time. So that's puri ready. I lift it, drain all the oil, give it a quick one, little bit more. That's it. So all the oil would get drained, and I'll just transfer it to a basket. Here it is. Puri is ready. And if you have already watched the video on how to make aloo chana, make some and enjoy aloo chana with this puri.
So the puri is ready. We are going to try a little bit of it on its own.
Yeah, we don't have aloo chana. We made this puri earlier for lunch, and we had it with bhindi, and it was really nice. Actually, I made puris with 2 different recipes. I have been making puris with 2 different recipes, but I wanted to try one more time before I can share it with you. And I think the traditional one, which I have always preferred, is, in my opinion, a better recipe. The other recipe is where you use a portion of atta, which is the flour to make chapatis, and plain flour. You mix it in the ratio of 3 to 1, 3 being plain flour and 1 portion of atta, and you beat it with water, lukewarm water. But this recipe, I think the reason I like it is both taste nice, but with this recipe it becomes very fluffy, and I find it more manageable while it stays very fresh, and it won't just break it into small pieces in your hand if you're trying to get a nice bite. So you can actually...
The texture's smoother.
Yeah, it's much smooth. It's easier to have any curry with, and it's very light. And if you put it, and if you see, it's very dry as well. I don't have any oil on my hands, and it's a very light puri to have with any curry, especially with aloo chana. So I hope you found this video useful, and you know how to make Turkish tea as well now.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we have been updating our website as well, which is www.spicykissa.co.uk. So go and visit the website, see if you how you find it there, and if you have any suggestions, do let us know as well. Till next time, a bye from both of us.
Bye.